Marcus and Tanya Johnson stepped into Prestige Motors on a bright Tuesday morning. The showroom gleamed with polished luxury cars under perfect lighting. Marcus, 53, wore a simple but well-pressed navy suit. Tanya, 51, was elegant in a cream blouse and dark slacks. They held hands as they entered, excited to surprise their son. "It feels good to do this for Devon," Marcus whispered to his wife. "After all this hard work." Tanya nodded. 28 years of raising him, and now he's the one who could buy this whole place. But he deserves a gift from us. The Johnsons stood near the entrance for several minutes. 3 salespeople worked the floor. None looked in their direction. A young white couple entered after them and was greeted immediately by a salesman with a wide smile. "Maybe they're all busy," Tanya said, though her voice held doubt. Marcus pointed to the newest model on display. "Let's look at that one while we wait." They walked through the showroom, stopping at different cars. The salespeople continued to avoid eye contact. When Marcus raised his hand to get attention, a salesman turned and walked the other way. 15 minutes passed, then 30. A middle-aged white man in golf clothes entered and was instantly approached by the sales manager himself. "This is getting ridiculous," Marcus said quietly. "I bought 3 cars in my life. I know what this is." Tanya squeezed his hand. "Let's give it a few more minutes." At the 45-minute mark, Marcus approached the front desk where a young woman sat typing. "Excuse me," he said politely. "We've been waiting to speak with someone about purchasing a new car." The receptionist looked up, then picked up her phone. "Mr. Daniels, there are some people here?" She paused. "Yes, I'll tell them." A minute later, Mr. Daniels appeared. He was tall with thinning hair and a forced smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Can I help you folks?" he asked, not offering his hand. "Yes," Marcus said clearly. "We're interested in purchasing a luxury sedan for our son's graduation gift. The new S-Class specifically." Mr. Daniels looked them up and down. "I see. These start at $90,000. Tanya stepped forward. "We're aware of the price. We've done our research." "Well," Mr. Daniels said, "we're actually quite busy with appointments today. There's a used car lot down on Mitchell Street that might have options more in your," he paused, "comfort zone." Marcus felt his face grow warm. "We're not looking for used cars. We can purchase outright today." Mr. Daniels crossed his arms. "Sir, I've been in this business 20 years. People who can afford these cars don't usually," he gestured vaguely at their appearance. "Don't usually what?" Marcus asked, his voice level despite his rising anger. "Look," Mr. Daniels said, dropping all pretense, "you're making our other customers uncomfortable. I'm going to have to ask you to leave." "Because we're black?" Tanya asked directly. "I didn't say that," Mr. Daniels replied quickly. "But this is a private business and we reserve the right to refuse service." 2 security guards appeared nearby. Marcus reached for Tanya's hand. "Let's go," he said quietly. "We don't need this." As they walked out, Marcus heard Mr. Daniels say to someone, "Some people just don't know their place." Outside, Tanya's eyes shone with angry tears. "After all these years, it still happens." Marcus hugged her close. "I know, love, I know." They drove home in silence, both thinking about what to tell their son. Neither realized that this humiliating moment would soon lead to something neither of them could have imagined. Devon Johnson sat in his downtown office on the 40th floor, looking out at the city skyline. At 32 years old, he was the founder and CEO of NextGen Technologies, a company now worth $2.8 billion. His journey had not been easy, but today he was one of the youngest black billionaires in America. "Your parents are on line 1, his assistant said through the intercom. Devon smiled. His parents had raised him with love, hard work, and clear values. Despite his wealth, he called them every day. "Hey Mom, Dad, did you visit the dealership?" Devon asked, spinning in his chair to face the wall of awards his company had won over the past 6 years. There was a pause on the other end. "We did go, but we'll talk about it tonight," his father said, his voice sounding strange. Devon frowned. "Is everything okay?" "Everything's fine, honey," his mother jumped in. "We'll see you for dinner at 7. After hanging up, Devon couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. His parents had been excited about helping him choose a new car as a gift to himself for the company's latest success. Throughout the day, Devon moved from meeting to meeting. His company had created software that helped hospitals deliver better care at lower costs. Their newest product was about to launch, and everyone was excited. The investors are thrilled with the numbers, said Keisha, his chief financial officer and college friend. You built something amazing here. Devon nodded. It's not just me, it's this team. In the hallway, Devon stopped to chat with the cleaning staff. He knew everyone by name, from executives to maintenance workers. His parents had taught him that true character shows in how you treat people when you have power. Mr. Johnson, said Carlos, who cleaned the executive floor, my daughter got accepted to the program. The scholarship your foundation provided, I have no words. Devon patted him on the shoulder. That's fantastic. Maria is brilliant. She earned it. Walking back to his office, Devon remembered his own journey. After graduating from a state university, he worked at 3 tech companies before starting his own. He had faced closed doors, investors who wouldn't meet with him, and assumptions that he wasn't really the boss. His phone buzzed with a text from his mother. Looking forward to dinner tonight. Love you. Devon smiled but still felt uneasy. His parents had never been good at hiding their feelings from him. Later that afternoon, Devon left the office early. He stopped to buy flowers for his mother and a bottle of his father's favorite whiskey. Whatever had happened at the dealership, he wanted them to know how much he appreciated them. His driver pulled up to his penthouse. Should I pick you up for dinner, sir? No thanks, James. I'll drive myself tonight. Inside his apartment, Devon changed from his suit into jeans and a simple button-down shirt. Despite his wealth, he lived relatively simply. His one luxury was his view of the city and the large space where his parents could stay whenever they visited. Devon picked up a photo from his desk, himself at age 10 with his parents at his first science fair. They had always supported his love of technology, scraping together money for computers and coding camps when they had little to spare. His phone rang, his lawyer and close friend Michael. Hey, just checking if we're still on for the investment meeting tomorrow? The group in Detroit has some interesting properties. Yes, still on, Devon said. Hey, random question. Do you know anything about car dealership franchises? How they're owned, operated? A little. Why? Just curious. Might want to look into it. Devon hung up, feeling a strange sense that something important was about to happen. Whatever his parents had experienced today, he would listen carefully, and then he would act. The evening sun cast long shadows as Devon parked his modest sedan in front of his parents' suburban home. He had grown up in this 2-story brick house, with its well-kept lawn and flower beds his mother tended every weekend. Despite having offered many times to buy them a larger home, his parents always refused. This is where we raised you, they would say. This is home. Inside, the smell of his mother's cooking filled the air. Tanya Johnson was making Devon's favorite meal, her special fried chicken, collard greens, and mac and cheese. It was comfort food, and Devon immediately knew something was wrong. His mother only made this meal on special occasions or when bad news needed softening. There's my billionaire boy, Marcus said, hugging his son tightly. Devon noticed his father's smile didn't reach his eyes. Dad, you good? Devon asked, handing him the whiskey. I'm fine, son, just glad to see you. Tanya wiped her hands on her apron and embraced Devon. Dinner's almost ready. Why don't you two sit and talk while I finish up? In the living room, Marcus turned on the TV, but kept the volume low. Devon noticed his father's shoulders were tense. So, tell me about the dealership visit, Devon said. Did you find something nice? Marcus stared at the TV. We can talk about it over dinner. 20 minutes later, they gathered around the dining table. Devon watched as his parents exchanged glances before serving the food. Nobody spoke until they had filled their plates. Mom, Dad, what happened today? Devon finally asked directly. You were excited about this dealership visit yesterday. Tanya put down her fork. We don't want to ruin your dinner, honey. You're not ruining anything, Devon said gently. Please tell me. Marcus cleared his throat. We went to Prestige Motors this morning. We waited for 45 minutes while the salespeople ignored us completely. They were helping other customers right away, Tanya added. White customers. Devon put down his fork. Go on. Finally, the manager came over. Marcus continued. But not to help us. He suggested we go to a used car lot instead. His voice was calm, but Devon could hear the hurt beneath it. When your father explained we were there to buy a new luxury car for our son, Tanya said, the manager had security escort us out, said we were making other customers uncomfortable. Devon's jaw tightened. He threw you out for being black. He didn't say those exact words, Marcus said. They never do anymore, but yes, that was it. Who was this manager? Devon asked, his voice suddenly very quiet. Daniels. White man, about 50, thinning hair, Marcus described. Devon pulled out his phone and made a note, and the dealership is Prestige Motors on Westfield Avenue. Tanya reached across the table and touched Devon's hand. Honey, we're used to this. It's been happening our whole lives. That doesn't make it right, Devon said. No, it doesn't, Marcus agreed. But we didn't tell you this to upset you. We just wanted you to know why we couldn't help you pick out a car. Devon sat back in his chair, thinking. His parents had faced discrimination their entire lives. They had taught him to work twice as hard, to keep his dignity, to rise above. But they had also taught him to stand up for what was right. Did either of you mention who I am? Devon asked. Tanya shook her head. We never do that, son. We're proud of you on our own terms. Devon nodded slowly. I understand. They finished dinner talking about other things. Devon's company, Tanya's research, Marcus's hospital work. But Devon's mind was elsewhere. By the time dessert was served, he had already formed a plan. As he helped clean up, Devon sent a text to his lawyer. Call me tonight. Emergency meeting tomorrow at 7 a.m. His mother noticed his serious expression. Devon, what are you thinking? Devon smiled. Nothing, Mom. Just some business ideas. Devon left his parents' house shortly after 9, hugging them both tightly before heading to his car. Once inside, he didn't start the engine immediately. Instead, he pulled out his phone and dialed Michael, his attorney. I need everything you can find on Prestige Motors by morning, Devon said without greeting. Ownership structure, financial status, pending litigation, everything. Devon, it's 9:15 at night, Michael answered, the sound of a TV show playing in the background. I know what time it is, Devon said, his voice calm but firm. Something happened to my parents today. I need this information. The TV sound stopped. Are they okay? They're fine. But I'm not letting this go. Call Zara too. I want her financial team looking into this. This sounds serious, Michael said. It is. I'll see you in my office at 7 a.m. Devon drove back to his penthouse with the windows down, letting the cool night air clear his head. His parents had faced discrimination all their lives. They had taught him to be strong, to keep his head up, to prove people wrong through success. But tonight, he felt a different lesson emerging. Sometimes, success gave you the power to change things. At exactly 7 a.m. the next morning, Devon walked into his conference room. Michael was already there with Zara, Devon's chief financial officer. Both looked tired but alert. Tell us what happened, Zara said as Devon sat down. Devon explained the situation with his parents at the dealership. As he spoke, Michael's face darkened with anger, while Zara took rapid notes. So I want to know my options, Devon finished. Michael opened a folder. Prestige Motors is owned by Autolux Group. They own 12 dealerships across 3 states. The group is privately held, primarily by Westfield Capital Partners. What's their financial situation? Devon asked, turning to Zara. She pulled up charts on her tablet. Not great. They've been overextended for the past 2 years. Car sales are down, and they've been trying to sell off some properties to cover debt. Any discrimination lawsuits? Devon asked. 3 in the past 5 years, Michael answered. All settled quietly. Devon stood up and walked to the window. The city was waking up, people heading to work, buses moving down the streets. He thought about his parents, how they had taught him to channel anger into action. I want to buy it, he said simply. Zara looked up from her tablet. Buy what? The dealership? Yes. Maybe the whole group if that makes more sense. Michael and Zara exchanged glances. Devon, Michael started cautiously. I understand you're angry, but buying a company out of emotion. This isn't just emotion, Devon interrupted. You've been telling me to diversify my investments. Zara, your team suggested looking at established businesses outside tech. Well, here's an opportunity. Zara nodded slowly. It could work. They're vulnerable financially. With your capital, we could make an offer they'd have trouble refusing. How fast can we move? Devon asked. If I pull my whole team in, we could have an offer ready by this afternoon, Zara said. But Devon, we're talking about millions of dollars here. I know exactly what we're talking about, Devon replied. I want this done right. Legal, clean, business smart. But I also want it done fast. What about after? Michael asked. If you buy this place, then what? Devon smiled for the first time that morning. Then we fix it. We make it what it should be. The meeting continued for another hour as they worked out details. At 8:30, Devon's assistant brought in breakfast, but Devon barely touched his food. His mind was racing with possibilities. One more thing, Devon said as the meeting wrapped up. I want to handle the initial contact myself, in person. Are you sure that's wise? Michael asked. No, Devon admitted, but it's necessary. As his team left to begin their work, Devon stayed in the conference room, looking out at the city he loved. By tomorrow, a small piece of it would be his. At exactly 10:30 the next morning, Devon pulled into the parking lot of Prestige Motors. He had dressed purposefully in worn jeans, simple sneakers, and a plain black t-shirt. No designer labels, no expensive watch. His normal haircut was fresh, but not styled. He looked like an average young black man. Exactly the kind of customer Prestige Motors had decided wasn't worth their time. Devon sat in his car for a moment, watching the gleaming showroom through the windshield. 3 salespeople stood inside, chatting with each other. A couple was being shown a silver sports car by a 4th salesman. Taking a deep breath, Devon stepped out of his modest sedan and walked toward the entrance. As he pushed through the glass doors, he felt the cool air conditioning hit his face. No one moved to greet him. After standing near the entrance for nearly 2 minutes, Devon approached the front desk. The same receptionist his parents had described looked up with a practiced smile that didn't reach her eyes. Can I help you? She asked, her gaze already drifting away. I'd like to speak with Mr. Daniels, Devon said clearly. Do you have an appointment? She looked doubtful. No, but he'll want to speak with me. She hesitated, then picked up her phone and spoke quietly. A minute later, the manager appeared. Devon recognized him immediately from his father's description. Thinning hair, about 50, with a face that looked permanently disappointed. Can I help you? Daniels asked, not extending his hand. I hope so, Devon said. I'm interested in purchasing several vehicles. Daniels looked Devon up and down, taking in his casual clothes and relaxed demeanor. Several vehicles? For what purpose? Personal use, Devon replied. And possibly for my company. I see, Daniels said, clearly not believing him. And what company is that? Next Gen Technologies. A flicker of uncertainty crossed Daniels' face, but he quickly recovered. Well, our vehicles start at $90,000. Perhaps you'd like to begin with something more entry level? I can recommend. Actually, Devon interrupted politely. I'd like to speak with the owner of this dealership. Daniel's smile became tight. I'm the general manager. I handle all sales. I understand that, Devon said. But I'd like to speak with the owner, or perhaps someone from Autolux Group. At the mention of the parent company, Daniel's expression changed. How do you know about Autolux? Mr. Daniels, Devon said, his voice still calm, but now carrying an edge of authority. My name is Devon Johnson. I'm the CEO of Next Gen Technologies. Yesterday, you threw my parents out of this dealership when they came to look at a car for me. The color drained from Daniel's face. Your parents? I don't recall. Marcus and Tanya Johnson, Devon continued. You suggested they try the used car lot down the street. You had security escort them out. Daniels swallowed hard. The salespeople nearby had stopped talking and were watching the exchange. There must be some misunderstanding, Daniels started. No misunderstanding, Devon said. Now, I'd like to speak with someone from Autolux. I have a business proposition. Business proposition? Daniels repeated weakly. Yes, please call whoever needs to be called. I'll wait. Devon walked to a leather couch in the waiting area and sat down. He pulled out his phone and began answering emails while Daniels hurried to his office. Through the glass walls, Devon could see him making several panicked phone calls. 20 minutes later, Daniels approached again, his manner completely transformed. "Mr. Johnson, I've spoken with our regional director, Mr. Westfield. He's on his way here now. He apologizes for any misunderstanding and asks if you would like a coffee or anything while you wait." Devon looked up from his phone. "Water would be fine, thank you." As Daniels hurried away, Devon texted Michael. "I'm in. They're calling the regional director. Have the papers ready." The stage was set. Devon smiled to himself, knowing that sometimes justice comes in unexpected forms. Robert Westfield arrived at Prestige Motors exactly 47 minutes after Daniels made the call. Devon watched through the showroom windows as an expensive black car pulled into a reserved parking space. A tall man in his 60s with silver hair and a tailored suit stepped out, straightening his tie before walking briskly toward the entrance. Inside, the atmosphere had changed completely. Daniels hovered nervously near Devon, having brought him water, coffee, and even offered a tour of the newest models. Devon had politely declined, using the time instead to exchange texts with Zara and Michael, who were waiting nearby with all the necessary paperwork. "Mr. Johnson," Westfield said as he approached, hand extended. "Robert Westfield, Regional Director for Autolux Group. It's a pleasure to meet you." Devon stood and shook his hand firmly. "Mr. Westfield, I understand there was an unfortunate situation yesterday involving your parents. Please accept my deepest apologies. This is not how we do business." Devon nodded. "I appreciate that. Is there somewhere we can talk privately?" "Of course. Please follow me to our executive conference room." As they walked, Devon noticed the salespeople watching with curious expressions. He wondered how many of them had seen his parents being escorted out just one day earlier. The conference room was small but well appointed, with leather chairs and a polished table. Westfield closed the door behind them. "Now, Mr. Johnson, I understand you have a business proposition." "I do," Devon said. "But first, let me be clear about what happened yesterday. My parents were discriminated against in your dealership. They were ignored, humiliated, and eventually removed simply because they are black." Westfield leaned forward. "Mr. Johnson, if that's what happened, it's completely unacceptable. Mr. Daniels has given me a different account." "What?" "There were security cameras." Devon interrupted calmly. "I'm sure the footage would clarify things." Westfield's expression tightened. "Yes, well, I'm sure we can review that. Now, about this business proposition." Devon placed his phone on the table. "I'd like to call in my team, if that's all right." Within 5 minutes, Michael and Zara joined them. Introductions were made, and Zara opened her laptop. "Mr. Westfield," Devon began, "I know that Autolux Group is facing financial difficulties. Your debt-to-equity ratio is concerning, and you've been trying to sell properties to stay afloat." Westfield's smile faded. "Our financial situation is private company information." "Not when you're looking for investors," Zara commented, turning her laptop to show spreadsheets and charts. "Which you have been, quite actively." Devon leaned forward. "I'm prepared to make you an offer. I want to buy Prestige Motors." Westfield blinked in surprise. "Buy just this dealership?" "To start with," Devon replied. "Though we might discuss a larger investment in Autolux Group later." Michael slid a folder across the table. "We prepared an initial offer. It's fair market value, considering the current financial climate." Westfield opened the folder and scanned the documents inside. His eyebrows rose slightly. "This is unexpected," he said finally. "But I'm afraid I can't make this decision alone. Our board would need toe." "You have alternatives," Devon said. "My parents could file a discrimination lawsuit. With the security footage and witnesses, plus your history of similar complaints, it wouldn't look good. Your brand would suffer." "Are you threatening me, Mr. Johnson?" Westfield asked, his voice hardening. "Not at all," Devon replied. "I'm offering a business solution that benefits everyone. You get fair value for an underperforming dealership. I get to enter the automotive market, which I've been interested in for some time." Westfield studied Devon's face. "And what happens to the staff here?" "They stay, with better training and leadership. Except for Mr. Daniels, of course." After a long moment, Westfield closed the folder. I'll need to speak with the board. How soon do you need an answer? We're prepared to close quickly, Michael said. By tomorrow, if possible. Tomorrow? Westfield looked shocked. That's extremely fast for a transaction of this size. Devon smiled. I move fast, Mr. Westfield. That's how I built my company. Devon woke early the next morning after a night of little sleep. His phone showed 3 missed calls from Michael and a text that simply read, "They're ready." By 8 a.m., Devon sat in his downtown office wearing a perfectly tailored suit, a stark contrast to his casual appearance at the dealership the day before. Zara and Michael arrived together, both carrying thick folders of documents. They agreed to everything, Michael said, setting down his briefcase. The board had an emergency meeting last night. Seems they're more desperate for cash than we realized. Zara nodded. They're not just selling Prestige Motors. They've offered 2 more locations, their dealerships in Riverside and Oakwood. Devon raised his eyebrows. 3 dealerships instead of 1. All at a fair market rate, Zara confirmed, spreading financial documents across the table. It's a good deal, especially considering how quickly we're moving. Devon studied the papers. And they accepted our terms about the staff? Yes, Michael said. Full retention of all employees except Daniels, who will receive a standard severance package. The board wasn't happy about the diversity training requirement, but they agreed. At 10 a.m., Devon's car pulled up to a downtown law office where the closing would take place. Unlike yesterday, he arrived in his luxury car with his full executive presence. The security guard at the entrance recognized him immediately. Mr. Johnson, good to see you, sir. Inside the conference room, Robert Westfield sat with 2 other Autolux executives and their attorneys. Their faces showed a mixture of resignation and relief. Mr. Johnson, Westfield greeted, standing to shake Devon's hand. I believe we're ready to proceed. For the next 2 hours, both sides reviewed contracts, discussed terms, and signed documents. By 12:30, it was done. Devon Johnson was now the majority owner of 3 luxury car dealerships, including Prestige Motors. I'll have the bank transfer the funds within the hour, Zara promised as the Autolux team gathered their things. Mr. Johnson, one of the Autolux attorneys said hesitantly, may I ask why you chose this particular business venture? Autolux has other properties that are more profitable. Devon looked directly at the man. Let's just say I saw an opportunity for improvement. After the Autolux team left, Devon sat with Michael and Zara, staring at the signed contracts. So, Michael said, breaking the silence, you now own 3 car dealerships. What's the first move? Devon smiled. First, we renamed them. Integrity Automotive has a nice ring to it. And Daniels? Zara asked. He'll get his severance as agreed, but I want it clear to everyone that he wasn't fired because I have a grudge. He was fired because his values don't align with our business philosophy. Devon's phone rang. It was his father. Dad, he answered, stepping away from the table. How are you and Mom today? We're fine, son. Just checking in. You seemed upset when you left last night. Devon took a deep breath. Actually, I have some news. Could you and Mom meet me for lunch? There's something I want to tell you in person. An hour later, Devon sat across from his parents at their favorite restaurant. As he explained what he had done, their expressions changed from surprise to disbelief. You bought the dealership? His mother repeated. The whole place? Actually, I bought 3 dealerships, Devon said, and we're renaming them all Integrity Automotive. Marcus shook his head slowly. Son, you didn't have to do this because of what happened to us. I didn't do it just for you, Devon replied. I did it because I saw a business that wasn't serving all of its potential customers equally. That's bad business and bad ethics. Tanya reached across the table and squeezed her son's hand. We're proud of you, not because you're successful enough to buy businesses, but because you still remember what matters. Devon smiled. I learned that from you both. As they ate lunch, Devon explained his plans for transforming the dealerships starting tomorrow. 6 months passed quickly. On a bright Saturday morning, crowds gathered outside the newly renovated building that once housed Prestige Motors. A large sign above the entrance now read, Integrity Automotive, in bold blue letters. Devon stood near the entrance. greeting guests as they arrived for the grand reopening. He wore a simple but elegant suit, smiling as he shook hands with community leaders, business associates, and curious neighbors who had watched the construction over the past months. Marcus and Tanya Johnson arrived in a new luxury sedan, the first car sold at Integrity Automotive. Devon had insisted they accept it as a gift. "Mom, Dad," Devon said, embracing them both. "The guests of honor have arrived." Inside, the showroom had been completely redesigned. Gone were the intimidating private offices with closed doors. Instead, the space was open and welcoming, with comfortable seating areas and transparent glass dividers. Digital displays showed vehicle information with clear pricing, no hidden fees or confusing numbers. "The prices are the same for everyone," Devon explained to a local reporter. "No special deals for some and higher prices for others. That's why we call it integrity." The sales staff looked different too. In the past 6 months, Devon had hired a diverse team that reflected the community. The old employees who stayed had gone through extensive training on unconscious bias and inclusive customer service. At noon, Devon stood before the gathered crowd and tapped a microphone. "Thank you all for coming today," he began. 6 months ago, I bought this dealership after my parents experienced discrimination here." He gestured toward Marcus and Tanya, who sat in the front row. "I could have just filed a lawsuit or complained on social media, but I saw an opportunity to create real change." Devon paused, looking around the room. "In these past 6 months, our 3 locations have hired 27 new employees from underrepresented groups. Our sales are up 22% because we're serving customers who were previously ignored." The crowd applauded. Devon continued, "Today, I'm proud to announce the Integrity Scholarship Program. 10% of all our profits will fund education in underserved communities." More applause filled the room. In the back, Devon spotted Robert Westfield, who had come to see what had become of his former property. Their eyes met briefly, and Westfield gave a small nod of acknowledgement. After the speeches, people mingled and explored the showroom. Devon found his parents examining a new electric vehicle. "What do you think?" he asked. "It's amazing," his mother said, hugging him. "But I'm most proud of how you handled this. You didn't just get angry. You created something positive." "The real test will be whether this lasts," his father added. "Change is easy at the beginning when everyone's watching." Devon nodded. "That's why I'm here every week, and why our management team gets bonuses based on customer satisfaction from all demographics, not just sales numbers." Later that afternoon, as the event wound down, a young black couple walked tentatively into the showroom. Devon watched as one of his salespeople approached them immediately with a warm smile and handshake. "Welcome to Integrity Automotive," the salesperson said. "How can I help you today?" The couple explained they were just looking for now, maybe planning to buy in a few months. "That's perfectly fine," the salesperson replied. "Let me show you around, and you can take some information home. No pressure at all." Devon smiled as he watched the interaction. 6 months ago, that couple might have been ignored or asked to leave. Today, they were valued customers whether they bought a car today or not. As the day ended, Devon stood in the parking lot watching the sunset reflect off the windows of his dealership. What began as a response to discrimination had become something more, a true transformation of a business and perhaps, in some small way, a community. His phone buzzed with a text from Zara. "Oakwood location reports record sales this month. This is working." Devon smiled and typed back, "This is just the beginning."